You know that incredibly specific, like, low-level panic that sets in when you're away from your computer?
Oh, yeah. Like when you're just standing in line for a coffee or something.
Exactly. You're just waiting for your latte, and suddenly you get an email with a time-sensitive contract that needs to be signed and returned, like, immediately.
And suddenly your $1,000 smartphone feels basically useless.
Right. Because you tap the attachment, and the native viewer is like, nope, you can't edit this.
So you try to export it to a dedicated PDF app.
And the text formatting goes completely chaotic. It's a mess.
Yeah, the margins are everywhere.
And then you read the fine print in the email and realize, oh, great, I also need to attach a copy of my government ID.
Which is always the worst part.
It really is. Now you're scrambling, right? You're jumping over to your camera app, snapping this terrible, glare-filled photo of your driver's license on your knee.
Trying to hide it from the rest of the line.
Yeah, and then you're trying to figure out how to, like, stitch a massive JPEG and a broken PDF together while the barista is literally calling your name.
It's the ultimate modern digital friction.
It really is. And, you know, it's exactly the kind of friction a creator named Petro Fries is claiming to have completely eradicated.
Right, in his latest YouTube pitch.
Yeah, for an app that he just calls the all-in-one PDF editor.
It's a pretty bold pitch, to be honest. I mean, we've managed to digitize physical documents, but in the process, we've somehow made the workflow itself way more fragmented.
Yeah, it's like we traded a physical paper chase for an exhausting digital one across like 5 different apps.
Exactly.
And Petro is really not holding back on his claims here. He calls this, in his own words, one of the best PDF editor apps in the world.
Which is quite a title to claim.
Right. And he says it's available on both the App Store and Google Play. He is promising this totally uncompromising solution for anyone who handles documents. Okay, let's unpack this, because I want to know, what exactly is the threshold for a claim like that? When a developer steps up and says, hey, our app is truly all-in-one, what are they fundamentally promising you at a structural level?
Well, when you analyze Petro's pitch, the core philosophy isn't really about, like, just the sheer volume of features on a checklist.
Okay, so it's not just feature cramming.
Right. The entire value proposition is really built around this concept of absolute friction removal.
Friction removal. I like that.
Yeah, he uses the phrase full control over your documents. And the mechanism for that control is basically creating a completely self-contained ecosystem.
So a walled garden kind of thing.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
The promise is that you never have to actually leave the app's borders to accomplish a task.
Which I guess means you aren't leaking focus. Huh?
Exactly. You aren't leaking focus or processing power by bouncing between all these different software environments. Because each one has its own UI quirks and, file handling limitations.
Right. And Petro explicitly targets those pain points in the video. I mean, he promises a faster workflow where everything is in one tap.
He's very big on the one-tap idea.
Oh, totally. And he guarantees, like, no uploading, no waiting, no switching. He actually looks at the camera at one point and commands the viewer to stop wasting time on multiple tools because, quote, you don't need any more.
It's a very aggressive stance.
It really is.
Okay.
And, when I was reviewing this for our deep dive today, it struck me that our current digital workflows are basically like having a physical office desk, but it's completely dysfunctional.
How do you mean?
Like, the stapler is in the kitchen, the scanner is out in the garage, and the whiteout is somehow, like, locked in the trunk of your car.
Wow, that's incredibly accurate.
Right. You spend way more energy just walking around retrieving the tools than you do actually marking up the document itself.
That's a really powerful way to visualize the architecture of modern productivity software, honestly. You're describing a massive deficit in user experience.
But I actually want to push back on the premise of his pitch for a second.
Okay, go for it.
Let's say an app comes along and finally puts the stapler, the scanner, and the whiteout all in the exact same drawer.
Right.
Is the real innovation here actually the underlying technology? Or are developers just kind of packaging the psychological relief of an organized digital desk and selling it back to us as a tech breakthrough?
That's a great point. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, you are touching on a really profound concept in human-computer interaction, which is cognitive load.
Okay, cognitive load, break that down for me.
Specifically, it's about the penalty of context switching. Your brain operates with a limited amount of working memory.
Right.
So every single time you switch from your email client to your camera to your photo library and then over to a PDF editor.
Just to do one simple task.
Exactly. Your brain has to perform a context switch. You have to reorient to a totally new interface paradigm, recall why you even opened it in the first place, locate the specific tool you need, and then execute.
And even if that switch only takes, what, like 2 seconds, your train of thought is still entirely derailed.
Yeah. You leave what psychologists actually call attention residue in the previous app.
Oh, attention residue. I love that term.
Right. It's fascinating. The friction isn't just the 2 physical seconds it takes to switch apps. It's the momentary lag, the visual jarring of a new screen, the anxiety of a file failing to export properly.
Yes. That mini heart attack when the progress bar just stops.
Exactly. Those micro frustrations drain your cognitive reserves.